conversation in a second language is really an essential part of learning a language and really experiencing that language in reality. So, conversation is a big part of all of the levels of the oral English exams. Of course, they're structured so that the younger students who may not had that much experience in English are guided into a simpler conversation. And then as they gain experience with the language, it grows and grows until the advanced level. So let's just kind of break down the conversational aspect and what happens in the exam. We'll start with Susan again with the primary level.
Okay, thank you. So what happens in the conversation for the primary students? We have some questions that we like to ask you, and we try not to make them too difficult for you. We want them to be questions that you can answer. So we might ask something along the lines of, how has your day been going today? That could be a bit of a hard question, actually. We can say, tell me a bit about your family. Do you have any brothers or sisters? Do you have any pets? These are often questions that people like to talk about. Did you have a nice winter holiday this year? Are you going on summer holidays? What are you going to do for your birthday? These are questions that we could ask you. They're not supposed to be really hard ones that you can't answer. They're supposed to be ones that draw on your experience. And then if you have a question that you can ask us as well, then we actually are having a conversation. So you could ask me a question, maybe about, what is it like in Canada? Or do you have any pets? Or do you have any children? And tell me about your family, so that we are really conversing with one another. Of course, we could ask you something else as well, but we will always try and make it something that will be fun and interesting for you to talk about.
Thank you, Susan. Often, in the primary level, there might be an image or a word in the poem they've done that we might ask them about and ask them to explain that or to talk about that. So that might be another way into a conversation at the primary level. The junior level has the one where the student relates a past experience. And as Jim said, this is very helpful in building their work in the past tense. So Jim, can you talk about the conversational aspect in that junior exam?
Yes, I think the conversation aspect of the exam is probably the most interesting at every level, because we try and set the students up for success, so that the point of the exercise is to get them talking and to spur the conversation both ways. And on the junior level, this works very well. As I said, they have their past experience that they relate, that easily leads into their experiences, their lives, their things that they want to talk about. And I find it's a good motivator for getting them relaxed and getting them speaking. And that's the big part of the exam, I think, is the experience of speaking with the native speaker, and that they're often very surprised that they're able to carry on a conversation even at this young age. So it should be a pleasant experience.
Yes, it might seem daunting at first, but really that's the way they're going to be learning a language, is being thrown into that experience of having to try and find the words to express their ideas. Now, let's talk about the intermediate level with Vincent and some of the things you're looking for in a conversation with a student at that level.
Oh, thanks, Grant. Yeah, with the intermediate students, their facility with the language is usually pretty well developed. And I find one of my first questions to the intermediate student is, tell me about your choosing this particular topic, whether it's Formula One or juggling or Black Lives Matter. Just open that up for me. The students already have a lot of vocabulary associated with preparing their topic. So that kind of eases us into a conversation which I consider has two important parts. It has the speaking and the listening elements for both of us. as we develop a little relationship during that brief conversation. Usually it's in the middle of the exams that when I'm doing the exams with the students. So that's the way it works. I find it's not difficult at all to engage most of the intermediate students in conversation. In fact, I find it's often the harder task is when to turn the conversation off and move on to the sight reading.
I think that's a great problem at the advanced level as well, because students at the advanced level are sometimes fluent in English by then and are easily expressing their ideas in that language. And it's can lead to some great conversations back and forth from student to examiner. The impromptu speech is a springboard for conversation. And again, like Vincent said, we examiners want to hear your background, your ideas, maybe your future goals. And even the prepared work at that advanced level is of a high standard and can result in a very meaningful conversation. So I find the conversation part of that, the advanced level exam, is really wonderful, and the student brings so much to that task. Thank you all.
Thank you.